Ukrainian officials have claimed that Russia pounded Ukraine's capital Kyiv in a deadly hours-long assault on Thursday. This was hours before a meeting between the top US and Russian diplomats were to take place. Here's more.
Russia unleashed heavy airstrikes on Ukraine Thursday. Officials say at least 2 people were killed and 23 wounded in the attacks on Kyiv. It came before the Rome Conference on Ukraine's reconstruction, at which Kyiv won billions of dollars in aid pledges, and U.S.-Russian talks in Kuala Lumpur. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said he had a frank conversation with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov about finding an end to the war.
I expressed what the president has said publicly, which is that we feel as if we've dedicated a lot of time and energy to this matter, and just not enough progress has been made. We need to see a roadmap moving forward about how this conflict can conclude.
Moscow's foreign ministry said they had shared, quote, a substantive and frank exchange of views.
We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin for you want to know the truth.
U.S. President Donald Trump has expressed frustration with Vladimir Putin over the lack of progress towards ending the war. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Thursday's assault by Russia had involved around 400 drones and 18 missiles, primarily targeting the capital. Eyewitness footage verified by Reuters showed the moment a Russian strike hit Wednesday night. Authorities said air defenses stopped all but a few dozen of the drones.
Now, even as Russia continues to pound Ukraine, U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday said that the United States would resume supply of weapons to Ukraine via NATO and that he would make a major statement on Russia on Monday. Now, remember, the U.S. President's announcement to resume defense supplies to Ukraine is a significant departure from the earlier decision that had been taken in terms of stalling the defense supplies to Ukraine. That's a decision now that's been solely blamed on Pentagon and not the United States president. Interestingly, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has met the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Malaysia at a tense diplomatic moment that was marked by Russia's intensified military assault on Ukraine and a sudden hardening of U.S. posture under President Donald Trump. Interestingly, this meeting happened on the sidelines of the regional ASEAN summit in Kuala Lumpur. It came just hours after Moscow launched one of its most intense barrage on Ukrainian cities in recent months. With debris still being cleared in Kyiv and Kharkiv, Rubio and Lavrov sat down for what observers believe were fraught discussions over the future of the war and Washington's shifting response to all of it. In a notable shift, Trump this week approved this fresh package of advanced weaponry for Ukraine. U.S. officials say that Trump is increasingly impatient with Russia's tactics and that the Rubio-Lavrov meeting was intended to deliver that precise message with clarity. Increasing Russian drone attacks and the concern that Ukraine will be split up under a future peace plan have cast a shadow over a meeting of European leaders to prepare for the reconstruction of Ukraine. The conference is being attended by Volodymyr Zelensky, Germany's Friedrich Merz, Italy's Giorgia Meloni and Poland's Donald Tusk. The meeting is taking place at a time when there is unprecedented pressure on the Ukrainian economy as the Russian President Putin has widened his targets across Ukraine, deploying a record number of long-range drones. A report last month found that more than a third of Ukraine's estimated reconstruction will cost close to $200 billion. And will now directly fall on a bankrupt Russia if Ukraine were forced to concede the loss of control of 4 territories as part of a peace pact.